Well, hello and welcome to 5 Secret Job Search Hacks for the age 50 plus job hunter. I'm Jewel Gracie DeMaio, and this is $1. Now, in this program, I'm going to show you how with this dollar, you can be done, totally done with that endless, fruitless type of job search online. Here's what we're going to cover. My perfect job solution. It's the proven system to slash your job search time by half. Now, the perfect job solution has 6 simple steps. LinkedIn to win, Moneyfy your resume, branded brilliance, connect with the C-suite, Google to greatness, and blazing confidence blueprint. Today, I'm giving you the first part of the program, LinkedIn to win. Now, here are the hacks that you're getting today. The exact keys to making your LinkedIn profile the one that recruiters will find, the killer mistake that will automatically make the recruiter ignore you, and how to break into the hidden job market even if your network is virtually non-existent. Now, this is so you can get the results that my system has been proven to deliver. Going from unemployed to job found in 90 days, from contract to permanent job in 30 days, and the recruiter called him, he got hired in 45 days, and guess what? His new job is at LinkedIn. So you'll be hearing from people who use my system during this hour, telling their job search success stories in their own words and talking about how these exact results happened for them. Now, for those of you who may not know, because we have hundreds and hundreds of people here who probably haven't met me or heard of me before, but you all are coming to me from different places in the world. I've been a resume writer and job search coach for 18 years. I'm the founder and principal of Perfect10Resumes.com. Now, there's exactly one reason that I opened this business. Here's what I believe. You have a story within you that is 100% yours. Own it and tell it. What I do is guide you to get you directly in front of the right people. When you're in front of the right people, it's important to say the right thing, and that right thing is what's authentic to you. Now, this authenticity, this is the element that people so undervalue, so underappreciate. Just normal resume writing or LinkedIn profile writing doesn't emphasize this. Find the parts of your story that will inspire people to reach out to you. People want to work with someone they feel is genuine and who's aligned with who they are. I'll show you in one of the case studies how a VP I worked with dug down into his story, didn't just stay on the surface with expertise and keywords. That's what made the right recruiters respond to him. Now listen, I totally understand that it is difficult for mature job seekers these days, especially if you haven't actively conducted a job search in several years. Job search is so different today than it was before, and it can be overwhelming to say the least, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It is frustrating and discouraging to get blocked at practically every move and fraught with one stress after the next. So if you are running into roadblocks, if you are feeling negative feelings, and I'm here to tell you right now that it is definitely not your fault. I'm going to shed some light on why this is happening, and more importantly, what needs to happen in order to change this job search for you and move it in the direction that you want. I'm published in several books. You can go pick them up at any major bookstore, Amazon. So they are real, printed, not self-published books for those of you with very high standards. I am present in the ebook market as well. I have the Ultimate Job Search Guide on Amazon. Google me. You will find at least 5 pages of results detailing my expertise. It's printed in Monster.com, Forbes Magazine, the Huffington Post, the Wall Street Journal, Yahoo, Six Figure Jobs, Work It Daily, among others. I have written tons of practical, convenient job search tips over the years, and they truly add up to a wealth of information so that you can cut through the conflicting advice and the 1,000,001 things that are just floating around out there. I have LinkedIn endorsements and recommendations by many of the greatest career transition specialists, other resume writers. In fact, what I'm extremely proud of is being able to link job seekers like you to the nearly 3,000 recruiters, HR managers, and talent acquisition specialists to whom I am personally directly connected. And that's something I'll give you more details on later in the program. You'll find out how you can take advantage of my recruiter network, and I 100% guarantee you will be connected with a minimum of 50 relevant recruiters in your industry who are actively hiring today. Now, I'm sure what brings you here is that you're not crystal clear. There are questions floating around. Okay, I know I'm perfectly qualified for the job, so why can't I even get a call back? Why are the recruiters just plain disrespectful? Why do the recruiters want all your info, but then they disappear with no feedback on the status of the position? How can I get the hiring decision makers to acknowledge me at all? I'm on LinkedIn, but not sure of what to do to use it correctly. I understand there's a hidden job market, but how do I actually find that? I'm a fairly senior level person with a top-notch skill set, but I'm fed up with filling out forms and kind of affronted by them asking about my age. How do I get back the years that I spent doing other professional things different from my main career? I need to cover the employment gap on my resume. What's the best way to handle that? You probably started off your job search with a vision, right? And whether you're trying to move up or move back into the working world, the vision's pretty simple. Finding a position that pays a decent amount for your skills, fairly close to home, that you approve of ethically, and achieve that in a reasonable amount of time. But after little to no return calls or emails and time just wasted taking so many shots in the dark, what you have is a very annoying process on your hands. The job search game can wear real thin after a short while. It's tiring, especially when it takes significantly longer than what you thought. And by that, I mean you're stuck in this cycle of things that you really don't enjoy because they're not getting you anywhere. So applying for jobs online, that turns out to be a disaster. Monster and Career Builder starting to look like mega career killers because your resume just gets lost in the black hole. Rewriting your resume every time you send it out for a job posting or to a hiring manager. But it's hard to let go of some things in your history, even if they were a little far back in time, because they're still important. Submitting your resume for 8 or 10 different job titles, a variety of things, because you figure you can adapt to practically anything. Changing your LinkedIn profile to put in those buzzwords you heard about, like highly motivated and dedicated and passionate. Attending a networking event every week, every month, reaching out to resources and former coworkers who have given you a lot of information and tools and different things to do. Trying to find the real decision makers' contact info. And I mean, it's easy to find 1 or 2 recruiters, but it's difficult to plug into a large, solid number of recruiters. So what you have is a lot of activity, but what you don't have is productivity. And that can translate into a lot less confidence than you had in your glory days. And that's when the thoughts start to really creep in. Okay, maybe I need to look in another direction. I mean, I'm already looking at all different directions. I'm not sure about the proper job title to target to correctly market myself. Maybe my age is a problem. Been around for a while, so I have experience. A lot of companies want experience, but they don't want to pay what my experience level is looking for. I'm getting hits from the top job websites in my emails, but the jobs don't match my skill set. So it's stuff like this every day that makes me think the job search process in this country is hopelessly broken. So what happens is you keep on over and over getting demoted to the back of the virtual filing cabinet. Your resume just keeps on getting deleted. Let's look at a couple of realities surrounding this. So first of all, here's what everybody's told to do in job search. Hey, just go put yourself out there. And there is a semi-legitimate reason that people say that. The reason is that is what worked before. There was definitely a time, although it was in the 90s, when your resume served you perfectly well. And you networked your way into one job after the next. But the problem is, when you do the same things today as you did in the 90s, you really don't hear back from anybody. Or actually, if you do, today's options are you can sell insurance on a commission-only basis. You can start a rewarding career as a truck driver, or you can make your own hours for Uber and Lyft. Those are the options that you have, I suppose. But when it comes to the real jobs and the real careers that align with what you've already been doing for decades, when you use these old school techniques from the 90s, you get a lot of no thank you emails that say some glorified version of, okay, well, we'll keep you in mind for future opportunities. Even if you do make a little bit of progress, but nothing that leads to an actual offer, it's like pushing a great big boulder uphill all the time. It's like trying to dig a well for water in the desert. So if you thought you had a job search plan, but you're finding now that that plan basically consists of chasing down a lot of opportunities that end up going nowhere, then now is the time to get really serious and honest with yourself. Now is the time to say, enough is enough with the way I've been doing this up to this point, and now is the time to reboot this thing. This is your moment to jumpstart. And you know what? Nobody jumpstarts alone in the middle of a desert. So with what I'm about to show you, it'll be more like standing in the river and bending down with your bucket. I promise you. I'm committed to positioning you to slash your job search time in half. I'm committed to equipping you to capture more solid opportunities in your field at your desired salary level. I want to guide you to do it in a way that keeps you in the industry that you like and the location that you want. And I'm committed to you not doing the whole thing by yourself. We're all professionals here, so I'll tell you my goal in doing this program is twofold. I am obviously out building my business, making new sales, bringing new clients in. I like to be real and transparent about that, and I found that people appreciate it. But my first goal is to teach you, train you, and educate you. So let's get to it. LinkedIn to win. Get found, get read, get called. Reality check. When people receive your resume, before they pick up the phone, they look you up on LinkedIn, and what they find there will determine whether they call you. 97% of recruiters use LinkedIn to find job candidates. 64% of recruiters only use LinkedIn. 89% of recruiters report hiring someone through LinkedIn. Now, let's talk about LinkedIn's feature of who's viewed your profile. And so this is one view of what it looks like. Here's another way you may have seen it. Now, in this example, the person is in the double digits. So, reality check. There are 500 million people on LinkedIn. How is the person who has 60 profile views, and remember, that's not in a day, that's over the course of 90 days. How's that person going to get anywhere when there are 500 million people available to you on LinkedIn? Let's think about something else. Have you searched for yourself? Not by name, because of course you will find you. You have to think about this from the recruiter's perspective, and the recruiter doesn't know your name. The recruiter knows exactly 3 things, so lean in. Number 1, the expertise he's looking for. Number 2, the industry he's placing the person in. And number 3, the location. That is all. Because let me tell you a little story. I'll share this with you. Teensy bit embarrassing and vulnerable, but it does make for a good story. When I myself first joined LinkedIn, I had been a professional resume writer for nearly a decade by that point. So I built my profile for this relatively new medium at the time, LinkedIn. And because I'm a professional writer, I just knew everybody was going to find my profile interesting, and they would call me and want to hire me. Time is going by, and a few folks trickled in. And so I'm asking them, all right, well, how did you find me? Well, not one human being said to me, oh, well, hey, saw that profile on LinkedIn. That's why I decided to give you a call. I wasn't getting the responses that I thought I should be getting. I definitely wasn't getting the calls that I wanted and needed. I wasn't reaching people in LinkedIn who wanted to hire me. So it finally occurred to me to search for myself, and I put in my keywords, resume writer, and I went down page after page after page after ever-loving page. And so the bad part of the story is I did find myself, but I was on page 72. So obviously that's not good. LinkedIn is a search engine exactly like Google is a search engine. So not coming up high in search, that's strike 1. My aha moment came when I realized that putting up, what I hoped at least, was a pretty good LinkedIn profile. And then I was doing, this rain dance every day because, hey, I had double-digit numbers for how many searches I showed up in. All right, well, that turned out to be strike 2. And then strike 3, none of this translated into calls or inquiries from people who wanted to hire me. And that's a litmus test, friends, whether you're getting calls or inquiries from people who want to hire you. So that's why the first step of LinkedIn to Win is the essential step. And if this doesn't turn out right, nothing else matters. Get found. My specific definition of this is position your LinkedIn profile so when a recruiter searches for your expertise, you appear in the search results. Now, these are going to be the exact keys to making your LinkedIn profile the one that recruiters will find. Two things need to happen in order for you to get found. First up, grow your network correctly. Now, this is especially important if you happen to already be paying for any premium LinkedIn account. Let me give you a LinkedIn to Win unwritten rule. Your LinkedIn network is the most valuable part of LinkedIn. The quality and the size of your network are the keys to truly leveraging the system. The more strategic connections you have, the better. This is going to be the first layer. Now, I'm going to give you a tremendous competitive advantage when it comes to building out your network over your competition. To get the right connections quickly, the secret is you have to join LinkedIn's Lion Network. Lion stands for LinkedIn Open Networker. Lions are people with tens of thousands of connections. Now, being connected to a Lion means you get those tens and hundreds of thousands more people in your network. This is what you need in order to be seen by the decision makers on LinkedIn. Now, once you become a Lion, your LinkedIn network will skyrocket exponentially. This will expand your second and third degree network, which is important because of the next LinkedIn to Win unwritten rule. The recruiter will never see you if you're not in her second or third degree network. So without being a Lion, 98% of recruiters will never see you at all. So let's not fall victim to this killer mistake that will automatically have the recruiter ignoring you. Let me show you exactly what to do in order to tame the LinkedIn Lions. And so in the primary search bar on LinkedIn, in the upper left, I'm going to enter Lion. It's an acronym. Go ahead and enter it in all caps. And the very first tab to click on is People. Let's take a look at who we have. Now, okay. Most Lions will advertise themselves as such. You will see Lion in their headline or next to their name. But what I want to show you are the Lions who also advertise the number of connections that they have. So Patrick has 19,000 plus connections. He's an excellent person for you to connect with. Let's keep on going. All right, here's Joseph. Lion, 4,000 connections. Wonderful. Here's Dave. Look at this, 20,000 connections. Excellent. Okay, let's go to the very bottom. Here's Bill, and there were some others as well. Bill, owner of a business, presumably DC Spirit bestselling author. Look at this, 25,000 connections. So let's pause here for just a second. Bill is a business owner. He's in DC. Let's say you are an operations manager and you're in LA. So you could be looking at this and saying, all right, well, what do I need to connect with this guy for? He's cross country. He doesn't do what I do. You know, why is it significant? So it's not that we're looking at Bill himself as an individual. That's not the point of connecting with Lions. The point is these 25,000 connections that he has. So I can guarantee you that there is someone in his network who absolutely can influence your job search. That's the power of connecting with the most connected people on LinkedIn, who are the Lions. The next thing that you're going to do in order to get found is magnetize your audience. So magnetize means setting yourself up one time. Then after that one time, you repeatedly, over and over, attract the right opportunities and people and connections to yourself. So you're reverse engineering this process of you searching for a job, employers and recruiters never acknowledging you, responding to you, giving you feedback, or calling you back, to now magnetizing those recruiters so that they search for and land on you. Let me give you the next LinkedIn to Win unwritten rule. LinkedIn is not a vehicle for you to search for your next job. LinkedIn is a vehicle for employers and recruiters to search for you. You need the right search terms in your profile. So when your target market, that's comprised of employers and recruiters. When they go to search for some phrase, incorporating the right keywords raises you in the search results. So that means your profile appears over your competitors who have similar professional backgrounds. All right, how are we going to accomplish this? We're going to use worditout.com. Now, here's why it's important to use a tool. A tool like Worditout will only give you hardcore keywords. It just eliminates all the fat. It really helps you get away from these weak phrases like organizational skills and time management. Because listen, if you weren't organized, if you couldn't manage your time by this point, after decades of professional experience, why should anybody hire you? Worditout also gets you away from these worn out words. Words like creative and motivated, passionate, driven, they are all used so much that they have lost their impact. And so let's demonstrate exactly how we're going to use Worditout. Now, the key to doing this is to use the job ads for whatever it is you're interested in. And when you're looking at job ads, there are a few elements that you want to look for. This is an example from someone who wants to be a vice president of sales. Now, in looking at this ad, I'm looking for something that is long and wordy. We have a nice summary objective, 5 or 6 lines. We have an entire bulleted list of the essential functions. Okay, great. We have another bulleted list of all the qualifications for the job. Okay, wonderful. We don't need the information about salary or any of that. Okay, let's copy the elements that we need here. All right, great. Now, when we go to use Worditout, super simple and intuitive. Just click on the great big blue plus sign at the top left that says create. There's a big blank box. And on top of that, it says original text. The original text is your ad. So go ahead and paste it in. Bottom right, big green button says generate. Okay, now this job is VP of Sales, and Worditout tells us what is most important by size and by position. Okay, so when you are looking to put together keywords, what I want you to do is not just use one word. I want you to build 2 or 3 word phrases. So what can we couple sales with? We can say strategic sales leadership. That's a great one. We can say sales management. We can say sales execution. Let's move off of sales and go into another word. There is penetration. So we can say market penetration. There's accounts. We can say key account management. And so as we continue to build the list, let's also make sure that we put the keywords in some strategic places in the LinkedIn profile. And so your keyword phrases are going to go in the headline, expertise, current position, past position, and skills. Your keyword phrases can appear more than once in these areas without making your profile read like something robotic. Now, here's the level of success that comes just from this step that I'm talking about, get found. So this is Rowley. He says, a recruiter got my name when I initially worked with Jewel. Her killer keywords really work. I needed to reinvent myself from my previous job, which I held for over 20 years. Not having been in the job market for so long, I was having difficulty networking in this electronic age. Jewel has a methodology I can recommend, and she really harnesses the power of search in a systematic way. It's essential to understand the nuances and subtleties that differentiate you in the job market. I successfully landed a consulting role that turned into a full-time hire. I've been recruited twice in the past several years into better positions, and I wasn't actively searching. Recruiters are still calling me. Okay. The next step is get read. My specific definition of that is once the recruiter has found you because you've shown up in search, prompt her to actually click on and view your profile. So does us no good to appear in search if nobody actually views the profile. That's why we're layering this approach. You have to do all the layers. The results won't be good if you just pick and choose, one thing I'm talking about, but not necessarily the other. Now, Here is a problem. And initially, you might not see it as a problem, which is why I want to point it out to you. So the issue is, when it comes to job search, everybody's natural first inclination is to say what you do. And that's what we see in typical headlines on LinkedIn. Sales and Marketing Manager at Alert Security Inc., ADT Authorized Dealer. Senior OEM Marketing Manager, Mellanox Technologies. Google Partners, Product Marketing Manager, Google Global Marketing Manager at Huntsman. So, excuse me for a second, because it practically makes me want to yawn for a minute. You know, when you're reading job title after job title after job title, and put yourself in the place of the recruiter who's reading 1,000 job titles in a day, it is completely and totally boring. And so here you could be thinking, all right, well, what's the big deal about that? That's what I do. Well, the big deal is that out of the 500 million people on LinkedIn, how many of them do you think are sitting there saying marketing something rather? Huge percentage. So there's no differentiation there. And that's why job seekers really struggle to attract the right audience, or I should say, really attract any audience on LinkedIn, because the plain old job title headline, not enticing enough to get people to want to read more. Your particular brand of YOU, that's what will magnetize the employers and recruiters. So let's build a brand that differentiates you and make sure your profile gets read by using the LinkedIn Skyline headline. Okay? And so 3 things go into the Skyline headline: your expertise, that comes from worded out, your uniqueness, and your wow. Here's how you're going to zoom in on your uniqueness. Ask yourself this question. If 2 people were talking about who I am professionally, what would one say to the other? And your wow is what you do that's above and beyond. So let me demonstrate how to put this into play. So we'll take a look at the Skyline headline from Mark. Director of Product Marketing and authority on B2B marketing that propels ROI. Now, you can already see here the Skyline headline is not just about spitting out buzzwords and the things that'll get picked up in search, because you don't just use an area of expertise and then stop talking. The Skyline headline allows you to express a fuller picture of who you are and demonstrate your sweet spot. Give the recruiter who finds you a glimpse into those 360 degrees of your skills. And so what is Mark saying here? Beyond being the director of product marketing, he is saying, listen, I'm an authority, and authority automatically differentiates him from the 22, 23-year-old who's only a couple of years out of college. Big difference. He's already setting himself apart as an experienced person. Furthermore, he's getting very specific. B2B marketing. That's not consumer product marketing. That's not trade marketing. B2B marketing. You have to be specific. And then the wow factor. You know, he's not just doing marketing for the sake of coming up with whatever the campaign is. No. When he does marketing, that ROI is propelled through the roof. That's his wow factor. And so I wanted to break down this Skyline headline for you to let you know that, we don't just manufacture, hey, something that sounds unique or something that sounds like a wow for your Skyline headline. These things come from you. You already have them in you. So understanding that and embracing that is critical to differentiating yourself from the other candidates so that you don't end up with a whole lot of stale, static, dry language here. Now, let me also show you the significance of this part that I'm talking about, get read. So here's Jeff. And actually, even before we take a look at what Jeff said, let's take a look at his Skyline headline. CIO, VP Information Technology, I drive change, transformation, and innovation. Okay, because if all we said was CIO, VP Information Technology, congratulations, you look like 10 million other people on LinkedIn. Okay, but so the part that I was going to talk about with Jeff, look at what he says. I would not have been as successful as quickly without Jewel's assistance. And that's the point of everything that I'm showing you. You know, you can toil away at your job search for 6 months, 9 months, or a year. I don't know why you would want to. The point of everything that I'm sharing with you is for you to cut your job search time in half. All right, get found, get read. Next up, get called. How are we going to do that? Articulate who you are, what you do, and the value you bring so that the recruiter will be intrigued enough to call you. So the first component of Get Called is your spectacular summary. The summary is where you say who you are, what you do, value you bring. This is your opportunity to speak your truth. Let your natural human beingness shine through, and you're going to speak directly to the employer or recruiter. And so I'll show you how we did that for Lori. And let me scroll her spectacular summary up to the top of the screen so that we can talk about it. Okay, who I am. I'm a program manager and project manager with an extensive portfolio of achievements, poised for an all-encompassing role, strategically planning, scoping, executing, and delivering multi-million-dollar projects. All right, let's stop right there for just a second. What Lori is saying is worlds apart from sitting there going, program manager and project manager with 21 years of experience, because that's boring as hell. What I do. I specialize in technology engagements and consistently deliver solutions on time, on budget, and above and beyond performance expectations. There are no million-dollar words there, friends. Just say what you do. Now we flesh out the spectacular summary by talking about some key points. She was able to deliver $2 million in annual savings. She's had impact for some Fortune 500s, Google, eBay, FedEx, GE, and Microsoft. And then we round things out with the value that she brings. I demonstrate this strange dichotomy known as an engineer extrovert. I've cultivated a reputation for understanding both engineer speak and management processes. One person has said Lori is very empathetic. Coupled with her emotional intelligence, this makes her very successful in working with people from a variety of backgrounds and management. So there's a reason that we selected this as the unique value that she brings to the table. Lori is a woman working in a male-dominated industry of engineering. And engineers, you know, not 100% of the time, but typically want to just put down their heads and do the work. They don't want to be involved in anything except for the actual project. So Lori is saying, listen, I understand what management is saying. I understand what the engineers are saying. I can float between the two sides and I can bring everybody together essentially so that we can deliver these projects better, faster, etc. That's the unique value that she brings to the table. And so that's why we decided to showcase that. Next up is going to be your excellent expertise. Now, your excellent expertise is a golden opportunity. Remember when I did Word It Out, I really came up with, 6, 7, 8 keyword phrases. So this is where you're going to use all of those keyword phrases. And it's about making your entire profile rich with your ideal keywords to increase the likelihood that you're the person who gets found, gets read, and gets called. And so let me show you how we did that with Monica. And we'll scroll down to her expertise. All right, which is here. Her expertise is field and market access management, high performance access, sales team leadership, strategic access, new business development, biologics, biosimilars, and then the rest of it. All of this came directly from Word It Out. And so the next component is going to be your amazing experience. Your amazing experience will be the portion that's most like your resume. Not going to be any real reason to change the language because your experience is a point in history. That's what it is. So here's the key that makes the experience amazing. Specificity. Give the details that are unique to you. Tell the stories of your achievement that only you can claim. So that's what we did here for Mike. Now, let me go ahead and scroll down to some amazing experience that we can talk about. Okay, let's do this role that I've put at the top of the screen, VP Domestic and International Sales and Business Development. The most amazing parts will likely be the bulleted achievements. And so, what's Mike saying? Increase sales revenues by up to $300,000 with a 45% profit margin, an increase from initially 32%, by developing a standout platform, collaborating with Emerson Power and Water, driving a growth in customer value across all project spectrums. All right, we learned a lot here in this one bulleted point because it's specific. We know the revenue, we know the profit margin, we know the profit margin last year, and we know exactly what Mike did in order to make it happen. Collaborated exclusively with Duke Energy to innovate a new methodology to improve their viewing processes in the control room. This resulted in an increase of $425,000 in revenues and a 38% profit margin. We know the revenue, we know the percentage profit margin, we know exactly what Mike did in order to make it happen. Now, I know that I tend to give a lot of information because I really want you to be equipped to go forward. What I want you to really have is the ability to be organized with your information so that you're not overwhelmed. Therefore, I put together what I think is a handy little LinkedIn self-action plan. And the other reason I built the action plan is, here's what I don't want to see happen to you. I myself, I go to seminars and webinars, take notes, I get fired up, and then I get busy. I really never stop being busy. And then I end up, in a state where I just don't implement. You have just now learned skills that put you in the top 1% of job seekers, but the learning doesn't help you until you actually do it so that you can land the job you want faster. The LinkedIn Self-Action Plan is designed to give you a checklist so that you can get this up and running as fast as you can possibly do it on your own. And there are only 9 steps in the plan of attack. So get found, 2 subsets here. LinkedIn Lion Tamer. Now, reality check, okay? It does take work and effort to find the number of lions you're going to need, but the good news is once you put in the work, it is done. So even if it takes you 2-3 hours a day for the next 7 days, that is perfectly reasonable to get the 500 line connections. It is worth it, and it absolutely pays off. Next is magnetize your audience. So use word it out like I showed you. Now, what I did was a quick example. One ad, I came up with 6, 7, 8 keyword phrases. You're going to take what I did and you're going to do it 5-fold. 5 ads, and let's pick my average number, which was 7. 35 keyword phrases. And you're going to then make sure that each and every phrase is inserted in a way that optimizes your profile, which means put your keywords in the right places in your profile, the 5 places I showed you today, so that you get a high enough weighted score for your keywords. Now, this will require some tweaking over the course of time. You don't just slap the keywords in there one day and then like magic, you're on page 1. You have to go back to make sure to look at who's viewed your profile, how you rank in search, make adjustments. So I'd say do that every day, about 14 days to make sure that you're headed in the right direction. It's important to get this right because when you get more people viewing you, you get hired faster. All right, get read, build your skyline headline. What I want you to do here is ask yourself the 2 key questions I gave you to zoom in on your uniqueness and your wow. Now, doesn't necessarily happen in 5 seconds that you come up with the right answer. It does require some thought, some reflection. Truly take the time to think about what's unique for you. You may want to ask your colleagues because you worked with them closely. Find out what your spouse thinks. Now, oftentimes, people reflect back to you some great things about you that you didn't even necessarily think about. So dedicate some effort to asking people who know you well. I'd say ask at least one person a day, give it 5 days. As a matter of fact, the better thing to do, get a free 360-degree evaluation online. And you'll have to wait for people's responses. That may take a little longer, so let's give it 10 days altogether. But the answers will be very, very insightful. So once you find that uniqueness and that wow, makes you stand out a lot more than just relying on your job title, which I already showed you why that would be wrong. So that's your action plan to get that part absolutely right. Okay, and then get called. And the subsets here are your spectacular summary, excellent expertise, and amazing experience. Really, there are actually some subsets within this, but I want the action plan to be simple. So in the spectacular summary, answer those questions: who I am, what I do, value I bring. Make sure that your excellent expertise is rich, filled with keywords, and find every single instance in your amazing experience where you can insert monetary or percentage figures. So remember, this isn't about just writing, what you do. That's not amazing. This is about composing and presenting what you do that is uniquely yours and absolutely outstanding. Now, since getting called is the most important part, what you want to do is go back and adjust different elements every day until your phone is ringing. A lot of things that change here over the course of time. As I say, massage things, make your adjustments, spend about a half hour a day on it for a good 30 days to make sure that this is really saying what you want. Once your phone is ringing, you have inquiries coming in, then you're all set and ready. So executing the action plan like I've laid out for you here means that you have a fantastic foundation. And there's an important reason why I say that. 17-to-1 is the ratio of job interviews to job offers in this economy, meaning the average person needs to interview for 17 different opportunities before hearing one job offer. Now, that's according to the major job search websites themselves, in addition to the national media. So landing an interview is good, but one interview at a time is a long and winding road. And if you think about it, once you have your foundation, you don't just stop building the rest of the house. Real job search success requires you to follow a system and be consistent about getting into conversations quickly and repeatedly with the people who can hire you so that you capture as many calls and interviews as possible. Let me introduce you to my system to do just that, the perfect job solution, the proven system to slash your job search time by half. Now, this is the proven path to find out who the right hiring managers are, and I mean names and numbers, directly reach only the recruiters in your industry and where you live, and get an in with the companies that you really want. Let me be crystal clear about who this is for. The perfect job solution is for you if you're coming across some opportunities and maybe even had a couple of interviews, but then they told you they filled the job from within. So things went nowhere, not a whole lot of traction right now. You're thinking your experience may actually be hurting you because they can hire less experienced people for less money. You're worried about your age. The perfect job solution is for you if you're having difficulty zeroing in on the companies that you should target. You're being blocked by recruiters because of recent history in contract work, and they're saying they can't do anything for you to get you back into permanent work. You're thinking your LinkedIn and resume could be better because things are very different from 5 or 6 years ago. You've built your LinkedIn network for months, but you're not getting any calls. Or some folks have found you on LinkedIn, but they seem random, so you don't know how good your network really is. The perfect job solution is for you if you have a unique, impressive background and you want to be able to tell the person that, but you can't get in front of them or you can't get your foot in the door. Even though you're reasonably confident that once you make it to the interview, you can take things from there. What I wanted to do is give you some real clarity on the types of job titles that people who have found employment through our program, the Perfect Job Solution, the types of job titles that they've had. And so the Perfect Job Solution is going to be a slam dunk for you if you are in the green column on the left, meaning mid-level, individual contributor, senior manager, director, VP, C-level, CEO, CIO, CFO, or consultant seeking traditional employment, meaning marketing consultant working for clients, now you want to work for a company. IT consultant doing project for clients, now you want to work for a company. And just in the interest of transparency, not really wasting people's time, Perfect Job Solutions not going to be the program for you if you're entry level. I usually cap that at about age 24. If you are in a blue collar job in the construction trades or only looking for part-time employment right now. These are some of the specific job titles of people who have participated in the Perfect Job Solution and found employment just recently. Project manager, marketing consultant, performance improvement specialist, director of product management, really all directors, store operations, pharmaceutical sales, sales manager, project controls manager, business analyst, program manager, executive retail management, attorney, general counsel, freelance technical writer, not really for electricians, that's blue collar, or executive director. We've also had successfully system administrator, training and development, not retail hourly store sales, grant administrator, CFO, all C-level, senior learning strategist, medical devices sales, director of marketing, and it's going to be for all directors, VP of sales, it's going to be for all VPs, associate attorney, corporate communications, senior manager of marketing, area director. This is a sampling of the job title. So if your job title is one of these, then you absolutely know that it's for you. If it's similar, then it is also for you. This is intended to give you an idea, an overview of the types of job titles for whom the Perfect Job Solution has absolutely been the answer. Now, what I thought I would do is just talk about the main pieces of this just for sake of time. I've used these same strategies to land every job I ever had. And once I learned how to job search correctly, I enjoyed the power that I felt and the validation that I got, going straight to the top, straight to the decision maker with virtually zero competition. Now, these are the strategies I have taught to thousands of job seekers worldwide. This is how I've mentored hundreds of job seekers in this program in just the last 5 years. So the point is, I lived and breathed this, and it worked time and again and again. I have more stories of people coming up who put this into action themselves. So you're going to learn the layers of this entire process, soup to nuts. So in LinkedIn to Win, we take care of everything that I just taught you how to do. LinkedIn Lion Tamer, we're going to do that, not you. Word it out, your 5 ads, your 35 keyword phrases, we do that, not you. Magnetize your audience, we do it, not you. Skyline headline, the who I am, what I do, value I bring, putting that together in a compelling fashion. We do that, not you. The spectacular summary, we're going to take care of that. I'm going to make sure that your expertise is absolutely excellent and that your experience is nothing short of amazing. Next up in the Perfect Job Solution is brand your brilliance. Here, you're going to powerfully answer the question, why should I hire you? Now, the problem is that articulating what you believe can turn into some clunky sentences. And then what happens is you fall back into the comfort zone of saying the things that the employer wants to hear. But the employer's heard all that before, because I promise you they are all cliche. So let's think about this a different way. A champion makes a decision to present himself with power, like Muhammad Ali. I am the greatest. That's what we're aiming for about you in Brand Your Brilliance. So what you're going to learn is brand anatomy. What brand is, what brand is not. There's Pitch Perfect, best practices for how to build your brand. Publicity shots, where to promote your brand. And real ROI, how to measure brand effectiveness. Next up in the Perfect Job Solution is connect with the C-suite. Here you're going to find out the names and numbers of the senior people making the hiring decisions. Now, the job boards give you no more than a 2% chance of getting an interview. Here it is by the numbers. There are 427,000 jobs posted just on Monster every week. 1,000 people see any one post. 200 people begin their application. 25 resumes will make it to the hiring manager. 1, 2, or 3 of those folks will make it to final interviews. That's according to all the major media. However, the critical factor that makes or breaks job search success is your ability to make direct contact with the hiring decision maker. 40 to 70% of people get hired this way. So what you're going to get is the target tool, so that you're crystal clear on a specific company or industry, even if you're changing industries. There's the one-stop shop. It's a free online database to find out the names and numbers of the hiring decision makers. Now, the one-stop shop is the one piece of technology that you need to get you the meetings that get you the job. Here's what's in the one-stop shop. You're getting the specific hiring decision makers, name, title, email, snail mail, phone number. Many of them even have a miniature bio. The one-stop shop database operates in real time. It uses technology to make sure the information it gives you is current. It tests the email addresses to make sure that they don't bounce. This is exactly one place for the information that you need about the people on the other end. You will know exactly who to write or call. Next up in the perfect job solution is Google to Greatness. Here you're going to leverage all the Google offerings to break into the hidden job market. Now, the problem is that you have to research the company for information to use in your materials, in your interviews, so that you look better than the competition. Now, that research can be a slow, inefficient process requiring a lot of websites. The search results can be obsolete or just otherwise not useful, in that what you find out is the same as what all your competition can find out just as easily. So let's think about this a different way. You are going to go for growth. See what companies are in growth mode, because these are the employers who are hiring. There's hidden jobs exposed. See more hidden jobs on specific types of sites where I promise you no one else is looking. There's Automation Station. Automatically get information about your targeted companies directly in your email. The structure of the program is like this, friends. It's 6 weeks long. We start with the personal power hour. That's you and me, individually, privately. I personally knock out your LinkedIn to win. There's a private training every week on demand. Those are the pieces I just ran through. Connect with the C-suite, Google to Greatness, etc. There's semi-private coaching, Q&A every Monday. Call that Momentum Mondays. And I have videos and templates of all kinds of backdoor shortcuts available to you on demand. So friends, imagine if you used these methods to finally identify the right decision makers, make direct contact, and actually get the responses that you should be getting. What would that mean for your smoother career transition? How amazing would that be for your career trajectory in your new job? What would you then be able to do for your spouse that you perhaps haven't been able to provide up until now? What are the benefits that you could give to your family? What if the job pays you twice as much as you have now or had before? What would more money mean for the people you love? A bigger home, a vacation, these things that you've always talked about. I know that you want more in your career and your life. That's why you came to this program. Except I'm also keenly aware there are some other thoughts floating around right about now too, such as, well, I liked what Jewel put together, what she shared. I took some good notes. I could probably knock that out myself. And it's easy to feel that way. Other people have certainly expressed that to me before. The reason that you're here is that you do know bits and pieces, obviously, but you haven't put it all together to get the results. So the bottom line is you heard it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you know it. Knowing it means you'd be getting the results that you want right now today. So what people have found is that they dabble, with some of the things I'm talking about here. And one of the things that you need to understand is that what I'm presenting now is a touch of what we do in the full Perfect Job Solution program. So people kind of erroneously thought that they were going to do a couple things I talked about here and then, sail to number 1 on page 1 of LinkedIn by tomorrow. This is not magic. This is a specific step-by-step system. So then they came back to me to do the Perfect Job Solution for real. That's when I pulled back the curtain fully and we did a deep dive into the job search techniques that the professionals use. Then they got the inquiries, the responses, and the calls that they wanted. Now, here's another issue because, unless you just started your job search today, you've been working on this endeavor, doing some program, some method for some period of time, and it's just not turning into the results that you thought it would. Well, the reason that you're here is that something from the program you did before was missing, or it didn't give you what you specifically needed. And I'm going to say with a really high degree of certainty that I know the first thing that was missing from what you did before was the expert, him or herself. What's different here is that I work with you personally. The first time, the second time, the third time, the sixth time, the 10th time, the whole time. And I give you exactly what you need, especially if you've had any kind of problematic situation. I can customize the program for you, for example, to give you the tools that you're going to need. Let's say if you got fired for cause. What if you don't have a 4-year degree? What if you're lacking a certification for your industry that all the ads are looking for, but you still have the actual knowledge? It just isn't under the banner of a certification. What if you are looking to relocate? That can be problematic. Obviously, if you are over age 50, these are the special situations that I'm talking about where I customize the program for you. And listen, I know exactly what the actions need to be, the order in which we're going to take the steps so that you can absolutely move forward. And then, what about the thought of, I did like everything she said. That did make sense. I just want to take that, just want to think about that, do some research. So research, just wanting to think about it. These are words that, feel like polite things to say. A lot of people have felt that way, but they really are words for you to avoid making a decision. And what you need to understand is that in and of itself is a decision. The decision is to stay stuck exactly where you are right now. So what others have found is that when they make the decision to partner with a professional who has the roadmap to solve these problems, the only thing to think about then is how much time you're going to make up and regain when your job search actually moves consistently and rapidly in the right direction. So you know what? Here's the main consideration, friends. Look at where you are in your job search now. Is what you're doing getting you where you want to be in the time that you need to be there? Because right now, it takes 29 weeks for the average person to find their next job. But let me show you just some of the people for whom the perfect job solution dramatically cut down on the time frame to achieve job search success. So the first case study is about the candidate who went from job searching to job found in 90 days. So this is John. Here's what was going on with him at the time. John hadn't had to look for a job or write a resume in a lot of years. He was frustrated because he was applying everywhere, but nobody was getting back to him, and he was spinning his wheels because he didn't know what to do to make strategic connections. So John did what job seekers do. He spent entirely too much time just obsessing over whether his resume should be 1 page or 2. He limited himself to what his research told him were the best job websites, and he was wasting time trying to find and contact recruiters who didn't know him and didn't respond. It turned into a great big old recipe for failure. But in the perfect job solution, the right recruiters found out who John was and what he offered. He made direct contact with specific decision makers at his ideal companies, and John was able to interview fast, and he interviewed often, and he shares his story with us right here on LinkedIn. And so here's what John had to say. For the first time in my 30-year career, I found myself having to look for a new job. After applying to over 50 postings with no responses, I came across Perfect 10 resumes and learned I had been doing everything wrong. I didn't appreciate that my brand needed to be reworked or the value of directly contacting potential hiring managers. I worked with you so you could put me on the right track to get found, get read, get called. My response rate was fantastic, at least 40%. I received 2 really good job offers, and 1 was a hidden job. I'm quite excited because I got a job that perfectly fit my goals just 90 days after my search began. So wonderful, wonderful success story. And believe me, there are more. So let me show you the case study of the candidate who went from 5 years of contract work to landing a permanent job inside of a month. So this is who it is. It's Todd. Here's what was happening at the time. Todd was trapped in this cycle of contract jobs that he just plain old didn't like. He was getting blocked by recruiters at every turn. They were telling him they just couldn't place him, and he was baffled after getting some attention initially, but then things just, went quiet. So Todd did what job seekers do. He followed the same job search rules that he used the last time he landed a permanent job. So remember that stuff from the 90s? Doesn't work today. He searched only the advertised openings on the most popular job boards. He used another program to be found on LinkedIn. He did get a big network, but that doesn't mean he got big results. What he got was a recipe for failure. But in the Perfect Job Solution, serious headhunters paid attention to Todd's new LinkedIn profile and they reached out to him. Todd came across new opportunities that he never found before using the hidden job sites he learned about here, and Todd landed the ideal role that he really and truly wanted, exactly as he talks about right here on LinkedIn. So Todd says, I was stuck in contract hell for 5 years. Despite having a degree in CPA, every recruiter said, there is no way any of our clients will consider you. It is impossible. It cannot be done. We can only find you a contract job. But I needed to get back into the perm world. I dumped money into the Greg Wells Be Found Fast program, got some attention, then everything just stopped. I came into the program Jewel had, and she told me to retool my LinkedIn profile first thing. Jewel was the only person who encouraged me and told me that my goal was not impossible, despite what traditional recruiters were telling me. So I reworked my LinkedIn profile, and within 1 month of job searching, I did land a great permanent position with full benefits. And let me share with you the case study of the candidate. Now, this recruiter called him and he got hired in 45 days. So we actually saw him before. This is Mark. And here's what was happening at the time. So Mark was working, but he was starting to get the sense that his superiors didn't value his ideas as much as they had before. Felt like he was seeing the writing on the wall. And unfortunately, he was correct. He did become the victim of a reduction in force. So Mark did what people generally do. He described the job and the responsibility so that people knew what he did. He concentrated almost exclusively on the online job boards, and he thought he would save his stories for the interview. No, 1,000 times, no, you are not saving anything for the interview. Now, remember at the very start of the show, I told you I would demonstrate how with this dollar, you could be done, totally done with that endless, fruitless type of job search online. Here's what Mark did with that dollar. He emphasized it in his LinkedIn profile, executive resume, value proposition letter, and personal brand. And the results were tremendous. Mark made up for the year that he had wasted in just a matter of weeks. He won his initial interview, then several subsequent interviews, and he landed his new job inside of 45 days, exactly as he talks about on LinkedIn. Mark says, I had been laid off for nearly a year. Over that course of time, I submitted more than 100 resumes. Scores of them were online submissions to company job sites out of sheer desperation, and absolutely none of them brought fruit. The hardest lesson for me to learn, which Jewel taught me in the Perfect Job Solution, was to not waste time with online submissions and to only work through recruiters. I had direct contact with 26 recruiters and went on 17 in-person interviews. All the interviews were either through personal networking or recruiters contacting me directly. One particular recruiter found me on LinkedIn about a job at LinkedIn. It took a month and a half from when she first called me until I got the offer, and I landed a job as Senior Marketing Manager. So friends, from doing this with candidates, for a lot of years, there are some key things that I can tell you with certainty. Doing this on your own is time consuming, and you don't know if you're going to get it right. That's what I know with certainty. What I also know with certainty is that when you have us do the Perfect Job Solution for you, this can slash your job search time in half. Now, my plan was to create a standalone solution for $59.97. This is a simple but extremely valuable recipe to follow. So follow it. You enjoy the sweet desserts like the people who shared their own stories of job search success on LinkedIn. But the fact is, after I created the program, I just made an executive decision to cut it down to $39.97. This way you see the value that much more clearly. you're off to the races quickly in terms of getting the right recruiter's attention and getting in direct contact with the right employers. But because I like to treat my webinar guests with extra special honor, because you're spending your time here with me today, I want you to have an exclusive opportunity to join the program at a stronger incentive level than everyone else who happens by the website. So exclusively for you, I'm offering this for just $19.97. And I'm going to share with you the tremendous bonuses that you get only as a guest on the webinar. Bonus number 1 is the private power hour. You are going to get traction right away because I'm going to get this success for you and give it to you. I'm scheduling an appointment with you to, in 1 hour, totally knock out LinkedIn to Win. I'm going to do all those steps that I showed you completely and correctly for you. I synthesize everything for you, and I'm very customized in my approach with you specifically, your career history, your expertise, your value. Now, here's why we set it up this way. First of all, I think you could do it. I just gave you a deep dive training on how to do it, so you have all the information. However, this isn't a matter of can't get it done. It's a matter of people just don't get it done. Research says only 10% of people hear what you say. Only 25% of people decide to adopt it. Only 40% of people decide when they're going to do it. Only 50% plan how they'll do it. Even only 65% do it when they commit to someone else. So when you're busy, unless you force yourself, you're not going to do it. But a whopping 95% get it done when you have a specific appointment with a professional who is going to do it all for you. The value of 1 hour of my consulting time is $19.97. You are getting it as a perfect job solution bonus for free. Bonus number 2 is Recruiter Roundup. So here we directly connect you with a minimum of 50 relevant recruiters in your industry on LinkedIn. Now, this is not a blast where your information just goes anywhere and everywhere. These recruiters are people that I hand select for you. That means your industry at companies you want to work for. You can tell me what the companies are, or I'll recommend relevant companies for you, and I will get you in front of them. We make sure that these are the recruiters who are hiring right now. Recruiter Roundup is an awesome offering to get you where you need to be. It's valued at $14.97. You are getting it as a perfect job solution bonus for free. Bonus number 3 is Momentum Monday. So this is the job search support group. What I have found that people want most is a professional with a listening ear. So you can bring me your different problems. You can get insight on specific situations, essentially in real time. Now, we normally provide 6 weeks of Momentum Mondays for $12.97. You are getting it as a perfect job solution bonus for free. Bonus number 4 is Employer Express. So at your top 5 most desired companies, I'm going to tell you exactly who to network with in your ideal organization. I'm going to give you the person's name, title, phone number, and email. When you are armed with this information, this is what prompts the recruiters and decision makers to invite you to openings that other people don't know about. This is your fast path into the hidden job market. This is exactly how you're going to break into the hidden job market, even when your network is virtually non-existent right now. This bonus is absolutely going to change that for you, Employer Express. Now, Employer Express comes at a $9.97 value. You are getting it as a perfect job solution bonus for free. Bonus number 5 is the 50 plus solution. Now, this is especially for senior level workers over age 50 who are having some trouble getting past the screening interview because of age discrimination. Now, the reality is job market is hot for workers over 50. You just need to know what to do. So what I lay out for you are specific companies with programs to recruit, value, and keep older workers. I give you the latest ways employers are masking age bias. This is according to attorneys and what you're going to be able to do about it. And I map out the 3-step approach to overcoming age bias and beating age discrimination in your job search. The 50 plus solution comes at an $8.97 value. You are getting it as a perfect job solution bonus for free. Now, I have a tremendous fast action bonus for you. Fast action meaning This is the extra bonus you get if you join us in the Perfect Job Solution at the bit.ly link, bit.ly/yesperfect, while you still hear me speaking on this program. Now, the fast action bonus is resume revamp. So when it comes to your resume, super simple. We do it, not you. This is a complete resume makeover. We make your resume ATS friendly. We take care of the length, the formatting, and the keywording. We build your personal brand, and we make sure that you can revise your own resume with ease. Resume revamp is the most popular part of our program. Here's what people say just about this. And this is Sean Dale. He says, since Monday, the official business day since my resume and LinkedIn profile were redone, I've received calls from 3 executive recruiters. Now, I'll tell you something. I distinctly remember Sean wrote this on a Thursday. He's saying since Monday. He's talking about the same week. Here's Marilyn. Jewel rewrote my resume and my LinkedIn profile. Both efforts produced terrific results. My new resume grabbed the attention of recruiters who contacted me. I had not had any recruiter contact prior. My new LinkedIn headline attracted new leads because of keywords I had overlooked but Jewel inserted. My new LinkedIn summary has been commented on by many of my contacts and would-be contacts for its simplicity and catchiness. I've had 4 interviews in the past week, a huge improvement over interviews generated from my self-written resume. Here is Monica. So appreciative of you, Jewel. I had been looking every day for about 6 months, probably 6 to 8 hours a day. Then I got into the Perfect Job Solution. I networked to get the name of the recruiter at a company I was interested in, mailed her, and we got into a dialogue. Later, I applied for an opening there. Everyone loved the resume you created, a step up in professionalism. The recruiter called me and asked me to come in. Thank you for prepping me for the interview. It helped me be my best self. About 4 hours after the interview, I received an offer. Kelly. After I worked with Jewel on my resume, I had a 125% increase in the number of responses from recruiters. Kevin, I've used Jewel twice and have landed a new job within days of releasing my resume each time. So that's the fast action bonus, resume revamp. I want you to make sure to take advantage of that. And you can get that when you join us in the bit.ly job solution, bit.ly/yesperfect, while you still hear me speaking. Now, resume revamp comes in an $8.97 value. You are getting it as a Perfect Job Solution fast action bonus for free. I wanted to sweeten this for you even more because it is so important for me to reward you for taking action today, to reward you if you're willing to go with your gut and move forward powerfully. So if you move forward today, you can come into this program and it's not $19.97, it is just $12.97. And of course, you are getting a guarantee. As a matter of fact, this is a one of its kind in the industry, double money back guarantee. I can predict your success with 100% certainty because I am going to do the following 2 things for you. I guarantee a 100% success rate. You get direct connections with a minimum of 50 relevant recruiters in your industry who are actively hiring today. You will know who they are. You will know how to contact them. I guarantee a 100% success rate. You get the names and numbers of specific people to contact at your top 5 ideal companies. You will know who they are. You will know how to contact them, or you will get your money back. Doesn't get any more ironclad than that. I want you to come back to me and say, Jewel, anybody who doesn't invest $12.97 in this in themselves is stark raving mad. There is no earthly reason for your job search to do anything but blaze forward as a result of the Perfect Job Solution. So to place your order, hop on over to bit.ly/yesperfect. And I'm going to hop over there right now just to show you a couple of key things. So the components of the program are across the top: LinkedIn to Win, Branded Brilliance, Connect with the C-Suite, Recruiter Roundup, the 50+ solution. The bonuses that I talked about are running down the right-hand side of the page. Well, actually, the first bonus is resume revamp. You want to act now in order to get that, and you can do that while I'm still speaking. So in addition to resume revamp, we have Recruiter Roundup, we have the 50+ solution. Also on this page, you will see success stories. Now, some of these people you've seen, some of them you haven't seen. They all wrote their success stories in the recommendations portion of my LinkedIn profile. There are dozens of recommendations there. I just made an executive decision to pick some for the PowerPoint and pick some for this particular page. But the source of where they all came from, they came from my LinkedIn recommendations on my profile. We also set up payment plans. So let me tell you a couple of key things here that are going to be important. All the payments are secured 100% by PayPal. If you don't have a PayPal account, don't worry about it. You can still use all the major credit cards by clicking the regular button that you're going to use in order to join the program on the page that I just showed you. So as far as the payment options are concerned, one payment's obviously $12.97. Earlier this year, we broke this up into two payments. So they are $7.97 a month for 2 months. It's spread out. So $7.97 each time. Since we unveiled that plan, that's really taken off like wildfire. A lot of people like that. This is a professional resume service, which is 100% tax deductible. Bear that in mind. Now, I want you to make the decision to join us now because the program needs to be limited to 25 people. Everyone cannot be accepted. So there are 509 people on this webinar right now. And as a matter of fact, we had a bunch of applications since we did this program for a group earlier this week. So I still have to verify what we're down to, but I know that we're not at 25 openings. So I need to limit this to 25 people because I do this work individually and I'm committed to providing you with quality service. So the page will be up for a limited time. When it fills, it is done. Right now, the offer is as good as it gets. As soon as you come on board, you'll see a page like this to get your private power hour. You're going to choose the day and time for that. You know, we can pick something as soon as the next business day, and then you're off and rolling. So here's what people say when the private power hour is done. This is how you're going to feel. You know, you're going to feel like you actually accomplished something that will move your job search forward. You're going to feel confident that you're finally saying the right thing that will get employers and recruiters' attention when they're searching for someone like you. And you're going to know that you have that high status of being among the top of your competition because your brand is actually complete and correct the way that it should be. This program is absolutely transformative. Transform away from wondering why you're not getting a response, trying to figure out how to get a call back. Get away from all of that. Transform into a specific system where you have direction, where you move forward, and where you see results. I plan to deliver, so you need to be prepared to get this focused, to get this done. My clients have gotten new jobs in days and weeks, just as they talked about in their success stories on LinkedIn, and that's regardless of market conditions, the economy, competition, all of that, because these are the strategies that work. So you can definitely do this. You know, you're here for a reason. Whether you saw something on social media, got an email from my people, or somebody told you to come to this program, something caught your interest in the first place. You signed up for the webinar in the second place. You showed up in the third place. And I'm still talking, you're still listening. What is that reason for you? To make your job search easier? To not have to struggle with all this on your own? Because trying to weed through this whole job search process is just overwhelming. And you know you do better with someone who will keep you accountable. And you're tired of them not calling you back. You don't want to hear one more time, well, we've decided to go in a different direction. And you'd feel more comfortable relying on someone who knows what the employers are looking for today. Because at this point in your career, you're a much more expensive hire than you were at age 30 or 35, and you need to be able to make the right amount of money. I don't want you to have fear about this program, about whether you can do it. That's not the thing to fear. Don't fear failure. The only thing to fear is being in the exact same place this time next year as you are right now today. A lot of times what holds us back is this negative, silently talking loop we have in our minds. That all the reasons why, well, that sounds good, but, or yeah, I want to do it right now, but flip that negative loop into a positive loop, because that is completely within your power. It is completely within the realm of reality. It is completely within the realm of a very strong possibility. And instead of constantly telling yourself all the excuses why you can't do this or why something can't happen, you know what? Tell yourself, actually you can. Because actually you can. What you need to be saying is, I can and I will get my foot in the door. Because actually you can. I can and I will get back to the work that I actually want to do. I can and I will move up like other people who look like they're doing it easily. I can and I will get the personal and professional recognition that I know I deserve. I can and I will find my next good job. I can and I will prove myself right about what I know I can achieve. It's not even just a matter of what you can do, it's a matter of what you have to do. You have to take action that other people are not going to take. Alrighty, friends, that is the end of the formal presentation, and you've been putting in questions the whole time. So let's go ahead and do the Q&A. Now, so my team is telling me that what they've done is taken the bulk of your questions and paraphrase them into, the most common themes. So let's see what they have put up, and I will go ahead and answer these. Will this work if I'm looking to relocate? Yes. The perfect job solution is for you if you are looking to relocate. So remember when I talked about how, in addition to saying I work with you personally, I said the importance of me working with you personally the whole time is that I can customize the program to suit whatever special or potentially problematic situation there is. So looking to relocate is one of those issues that I like to put some special attention on in order to deal with. What's really going to come into play for you, two things. Number one is going to be Recruiter Roundup. Because when I do Recruiter Roundup for you, I do two things. Number one, I talk to you about the industries that you want to be in. And if you don't know, I'll make a recommendation. And two, I talk about the area that you want to be in geographically. So whether it's where you are now or where you want to go. And those are the recruiters that I get you. They're going to be in that city, in that state, in that part of the country. And that's really going to make a difference, because when you move to a new place, you barely have regular contacts, let alone a whole bunch of recruiter contacts. So the Recruiter Roundup is really going to be very helpful to you. The second thing that will be helpful will be Employer Express, in that when you're moving, unless you know for a fact you're moving down the street from Google or GM or Apple, something like that, you don't know what the mid-size employers and the small employers are in the place where you're going. I research those for you. And, my role is really to open your eyes to other possibilities that, you didn't know about. You had no way of knowing about them. Well, I have a way of knowing about them because that's part of my professional research that I do on your behalf. While I was talking, I thought about Nancy's recommendation. And Nancy wrote this in May of 2016. So she talked about relocating. So I want you to see her story as an example, not just me talking about different components of the program all day long. Nancy says, I'd been looking on and off for about a year and had relocated from Rhode Island, where there were not a lot of jobs, to Maryland, closer to the DC area near family. What was most helpful for me in the job search was resume revamp, because I believe the new resume opened some more doors for me. After several weeks of sending out my new and improved resume, I ended up going on 4 interviews within 1 week. The new job I got as senior HR manager, it's more than what I made before. The benefits are terrific and the people are great to work with. I'm also really excited because the job is only 15 minutes from where I live, which is amazing. So yeah, I absolutely want you to come on board if you are looking to relocate, because this is the program that will get you over that hump. And that's going to be really important. You really want to hit the ground running when you're talking about going to a new city. Okay. Here's a question. I already did a program that sounded like this before. What's the difference here? Okay, good. I'm glad that a few of you asked something, along these lines. So a couple of points. Number one, I've been doing this for 18 years. I am keenly aware of what other professionals in my industry do. I'm aware of what they say, what they offer, and what they actually deliver. So one main difference is that I am also 101% positive that there is no expert who works with you from beginning to end. No one does that. Typically, the path is they give a webinar or an ebook or something along those lines, offer you a system, and then you have group calls, once a month, and you may speak with the expert there, but there are hundreds of people on the phone, so you may not even be able to get your question in. And after the expert, does everything in the beginning, you never have contact with them again. Well, what's different here is that I'm the one that you work with directly the entire time. You don't work with my staff. You don't work with people who you don't know who they are. Nothing is outsourced to another country. You have my direct phone number. When you call me, I know who you are, what the story is. That's the other reason that I only support 25 candidates at a time. I'm not running a resume factory here. So I like to know who my clients are and what is going on. So I have about the mental bandwidth to do that for roughly 24 candidates at a time. I deliver a pretty personal service. I want to do it that way. The results come out great when I do it that way. So that's going to be the key difference between other programs and what I do here. What I have found is that the candidates I work with really do like the individualized service. That's not something that you're going to find out there when you're looking for this type of thing. So I would say that's absolutely the key difference. Okay. Can you talk again about the payment plan? I sure can. Yeah, so let me show it to you before I start talking about it. Okay, so a couple of points. One payment $12.97, 2 payments $7.97 each. The payments of $7.97 each happen over 2 consecutive months. The payments are equal, they are $7.97. I am perfectly aware that $7.97 twice adds up to more than $12.97, a little bit of a cost of convenience there. That's just reality, that's just what everything is in the world. Now, let me also show you what happens here. When you choose either option, we'll walk through this process a little bit. Okay, so this is the perfect job solution, 2 easy payments of $7.97. You can have a couple of options here. You can check out using PayPal. You just want to log in. No PayPal account, pay using your credit or debit card. So that's what will happen there. And then let's say that you are interested in the other option. Just going to click on that. And the only thing I wanted to show you here are so we don't need 2, we just need 1. All right. And so here, PayPal checkout, which is obvious with the big orange button, or the button right below, checkout, pay without a PayPal account. And if you click that, you can go ahead and you will see the 4 credit card logos right there at the top. So those are a couple of things that you can take advantage of right there. I'm 55. Will this program be suitable for someone like me? Yes, this is why I have the 50 plus solution. And so the 50 plus solution, the reason it's positioned as a bonus is that okay, let's talk about other questions. I'm 55. Will this program be suitable for someone like me? Yes, this is why I created the 50 plus solution. Now, the reason that I position the 50 plus solution as a bonus is that it is a relatively new release from just this year and from just this past year, I should say. And one thing that I noticed over just the 5 years of doing this program is that probably 98% of the candidates I support are definitely over 55, going up into 50, sorry, let me rephrase that. Okay, let's go to the next question. I'm 55. Will this program be suitable for someone like me? Yes. So this is why I created the 50 plus solution. And the reason I'm positioning it as a bonus is because it's a relatively new release. It's an add-on to the program, which I created because the lion's share of the candidates I work with are definitely over 45. Okay, so they're already starting to think about, hey, I'm approaching 50. And then obviously I have candidates who, are 50, 55. And I'm going to say this, even though I just don't have a different word, but it sounds a little bit rough. The oldest candidate I got placed, and I hate to say oldest because she's a lady, but anyway, she's 62. And this was last year. And she got placed in 3 weeks. It was wonderful. So she quit my program. She jumped ship. You're allowed to jump ship if you get placed before the 6 weeks is over. More power to you. I love it. I will support you for that short amount of time if that's what you want me to do, and especially if you land. It's great. So what I have learned over these last few years is that, okay, these are the types of candidates who keep on coming to me. How can I serve this particular segment that much better? And that's why I came up with the 50 plus solution. So yeah, the program is absolutely suitable for someone like you. The other thing that I wanted to show you is that, not that it has people's ages on here necessarily, but all of the recommendations, and actually, let me say this, all the testimonials that I shared with you. Okay, so we had John, and John is the person who hadn't had to write a resume in 30 years. He is over 50. The second person was Todd. Todd is the person who who had been stuck in the contract work for 5 years. He is also over 50. And the last person was Mark. Mark also gave a recommendation, and I shared his testimonial. He's over 50. So if you look at, a lot of these people, they're going to be in the age category that you're in. So Laura, she gave her testimonial 2018. George, definitely 2017. Kate, also 2017. Pam, 2017 in June. So these people are definitely experienced people, and all of them benefited in some way from specifically the 50 plus solution, and then obviously the larger perfect job solution. Okay, next question. Do you do this for people who are changing careers? Absolutely. So with career changing, what's really going to get you over the hump going to be Recruiter Roundup and Employer Express, because all the recruiters, I can get them for the new industry that you're going to. And for Employer Express, that one can be a little bit tougher because you're changing careers and it's like, okay, well, where should I apply? But that's where my research comes in. So let me do the research on your behalf based on some things that we talk about, and then I'm going to make sure to recommend relevant companies for you. And so when you're career changing, that's when the job search tends to take, even longer, be that much harder. And you really want to make sure that the career that you're going into is something where you can make, the easiest possible transition, the quickest possible transition. And so that's what the Perfect Job Solution will absolutely have you do. Okay, let me see if there are any additional questions that I can pull up here. All right, so my team says nothing else. Friends, please make sure to join us in the Perfect Job Solution. The page to join us is bit.ly/yesperfect. Happy to have the page available for you until 25 people join the program, and then we will close the program. Friends, thank you for spending your time here with me. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.